We can go ahead and get started. And if I can ask anyone that is online, if you can please go ahead, if you're not already, mute yourself, because I believe there's getting a little bit of feedback kind of in our little control booth over there. So. Good afternoon. My name is Ann Strautman. I am a Neighborhood Services Specialist within the Neighborhood Services Division of the Department of Planning and Protective Services. Welcome to everyone here in attendance and also to those online. I am asking those that are online if you can please put your name, your organization, and an email address in the chat, please, because we are kind of wanting to see who we have in attendance, and that way we have contact information for later on if we need to go ahead and use that. So again, let me start with introductions. With us, we have Rachel Senzi. She is the Neighborhood Services Supervisor. Don Kirshner is Neighborhood Services Specialist, and Dave Helmick is our City Housing and Property Supervisor. Also with us in person is Paige Orschelin with Catholic Charities of Central and Northern Missouri. And online, we have Sherry Weiss with Love Columbia. And this presentation is being recorded and will be posted on the city's website, and I will provide a link for that in this presentation. And then we will also post the presentations from Catholic Charities and Love Columbia. Okay. So the Housing Community Development Act of 1974 authorized the Department of Housing and Urban Development to create the Community Development Block Grant Program. And this program seeks to provide decent housing, a suitable living environment, and expand economic opportunities for low and moderate income persons. In January and February of 2023, the City of Jefferson's CDBG Down Payment Assistance Program plus our whole CDBG program was audited by HUD. And so through this compliance, through this audit, it was determined that we were not in compliance with HUD requirements for housing counseling and lead-based paint hazards. And I'm gonna go ahead and go over that a little bit. So home ownership counseling is housing counseling that covers the decision to purchase a home, the selection and purchase of a home, issues arising during or affecting the period of ownership of a home, including financing, refinancing, default, and foreclosure, and other financial decisions, and the sale or other disposition of a home. Eligible applicants will be required to complete a homeowner education course before they apply for the down payment assistance program. The City of Jefferson will refer applicants to these two local HUD certified housing counseling agencies to complete the home ownership education course. And no CDBG funds will be committed or dispersed until the applicant fulfills the housing counseling requirement. And the city will go ahead and cover any fees for the housing counseling workshop or course. Again, the two local HUD certified
questions. Is this different than the links that you provided in the past?
Yes, this will be, the housing counseling will be different than what we have provided in the past.
As far as education goes?
As far as education goes, yeah. Yes. Yeah, there will be a completely different process. And let me kind of backtrack. The reason being is because we were not in compliance with contracting with a local, I should say, a HUD certified housing counseling agency. And so also we feel that by having them go through the housing counseling, the education process, possibly before they seek, a contract, it kind of makes for a better experience for the homeowner and for everybody else involved in that kind of thing. So.
Did it feel like there was something in particular that we as a group were not doing, or?
No, it was on our end. The housing, the agency that we were going through, we did not have a contract with, and I'm not so awful sure that they maybe were not HUD certified as well. So that was one reason why we kind of got dinged with that.
A little bit to
yeah, sure.
Considered HUD cert for it to be in compliance with HUD, it's 8 hours of training of home education, which the link that you guys were using, and it has to be actually with a HUD certified housing counselor, which an online link is not to get the funds from HUD.
And what we were offering was an online course that, generally if they sat it, it could have taken them anywhere from 4 to 8 hours to complete. But then they had very little interaction with a counselor after that. So that's kind of why we're having to do a little bit of a switch on this, so.
Thank you, sorry.
Sure, no, that's okay. Yeah, please ask any questions as you go along. So again, the 2 local HUD certified housing counseling agencies are Catholic Charities of Central and Northern Missouri and also Love Columbia. And then I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of switch to lead-based paint hazards. This also came up in our audit, that we were not following the requirements for lead-based paint visual assessments for any properties that were built prior to January 1 of 1978. And when we found out that we were not in compliance, we immediately started to, at least do the visual inspections, and that was kind of to help us be a little bit more in compliance. But at the same time, there was more that we could go ahead and do. So we would like to, if it is possible, to have the visual lead-based paint inspection at the time of the home and termite inspection. That way we don't have to go and, bother the home or it just makes the process go a little bit easier. And at the time of inspection, we will do a visual assessment to see if there is a significant deteriorating or peeling paint. And if there is, and Dave Helmick, who is our property and housing supervisor, he is certified by the state of Missouri and the EPA for lead-based paint testing and sampling. So if he sees that there is evidence of that, then he can go ahead and take a paint sample and then come back and test it. And then just, within a day or two, I suppose, we'll know what the test is, and then we'll go ahead and let the homeowner and everyone involved know. And with that, we cannot proceed or give grant funds until the lead-based paint is mitigated. And that has to be done by a lead-based paint, mitigation risk assessor on that. And so we do put towards $500 for lead paint stabilization work. And if that is the case and we kind of go through that with that, then it will have to pass a clearance test performed by a certified lead risk assessor, and then we can go ahead and proceed with the application process.
Do they apply for that $500 or is it something separate?
No, that is something that the city will do. They will not have to apply for that $500 on that. Yeah, that's what.
It's just kind of given to them as a credit closing or something? Like
No, it will be upfront, basically, and it's just on a case-by-case basis.
Work that's done.
Yeah, it's just applied to, and really $500 it's a drop in the bucket, unfortunately.
The expense is gonna
It's
be
very expensive.
if it's gonna happen. So my question is, are you doing that, Dave, on every house or just ones with peeling paint?
Just ones with significant deteriorated or peeling paint.
Okay.
So if I show up to do the inspection, all the paint's intact and it's all been mitigated prior to it, then that testing won't take place.
Okay.
If it's there when I show up, then I do have to do the testing.
And again, this is just for properties built prior to that January 1 of 1978, that date there. Okay, and this is kind of a process that we would like to try and get implemented to see if before that they are sent for counseling, to go ahead and see if they meet the income requirements. And so those are the income requirements for 2023, and generally those change in April. And so once April comes around, I start checking HUD's website pretty much daily to see when they change. And when they do, I immediately go ahead and update the application and get that online and out to everyone. And then again, they must complete housing counseling before that they can apply for down payment assistance. And myself or Rachel, whoever is working with this, we will go ahead and schedule the applicant for that housing counseling. So that will be on us to go ahead and do that. And then once they complete that housing counseling, then either the realtor, lender, or the applicant can go ahead and submit the application for down payment assistance, and we must have that housing counseling certificate of completion attached to that. And then we still ask that, that the application be received 30 days prior to closing, just to help with the process. And I know that on the front end, this will take a lot longer than what it has initially done, because they would actually go ahead and, in the past, we would get the application. I would have the applicant come in for the income eligibility interview, and then immediately after that, I would schedule them for the home education course, because we were doing that online. So now that it is pre basically applying, it is going to add some time to the whole process.
And again, I'll speak to that, so we'll submit, because it's going to be based on there's a portion for me that they'll do online, but then to meet with me in person, it will be based on availability with my schedule. And I'm the only HUD certified one at Catholic Charities. Typically, my turnaround would be pretty quick, within, that week I could probably get them in, but it's gonna, it'll be.
I don't know.
I think what we would like to try is kind of an advanced approach. So if we get the income eligibility requirements, that chart out there, and as a realtor, if you know that your client, it could be eligible, to go ahead and get them started on that housing counseling. It's okay if they take the housing counseling and then don't end up doing the down payment assistance. It's more of like almost getting that pre-approval process underway. We can't do the 30 days and then get them signed up. We just aren't going to have enough time. So if we could work ahead, and if you have somebody that's eligible and you think that would go through the down payment assistance program, go ahead and send them to us. We'll go ahead and check their income eligibility, and then send them either to Catholic Charities or Love Columbia for scheduling. And then they can shop for their home, because there's no.
The certificate won't expire.
Right.
So if they do it now and they want to buy 6 months later.
And this is just basically regarding the lead-based paint that we just previously went over. Again, assistance cannot be provided until that paint stabilization is completed. And then at this time, I will go ahead and take any questions on my presentation, and then if there are no questions, then I will turn it over to Paige for her presentation. And then when Paige is kind of finished giving her presentation, we'll go ahead and turn it over to Sherry as well with Love Columbia. And then if there are any questions regarding their presentations, we can go ahead and take those at this time. Yes.
Are there any restrictions or requirements other than the income requirements?
Yes, so that the property must be within the city limits of Jefferson City. And also, the property cannot be located in a floodplain. And it also must be a single-family must be a single-family home. Condominiums and townhomes are acceptable. Manufactured homes and mobile homes are not acceptable.
Are you still going to require inspection?
Yes, the home and termite inspection. Yeah, well, yes, at the time, if we can kind of get that visual lead paint, if it's needed, the lead-based paint assessment at that time. Are there any questions from anyone online at this time?
I had a quick one. Sorry to hop on late. What was the amount of the grant available?
So the amount of the grant available is $5,000, and that is in the form of a zero-interest loan that is secured by a deed of trust and promissory note for the affordability period of 5 years. As long as the homeowner stays in that home for that 5-year period, then the deed is released and they do not owe anything back. If they happen to sell within that 5-year period, then we recoup the entire $5,000 of assistance at the time of closing.
And does the property have to be a rental property converted into an owner-occupied residence, or can it be a residence that's already owner-occupied?
It has to be a residence that is already owner-occupied.
So like if they bought someone used to have a single-family house, they rented out, landlord sold it to a new home buyer. Could a new home buyer qualify?
Yes, that would be fine.
Okay.
Okay, are there any other questions? All right, Paige. Thank you. Okay.
Coordinate the colors.
Oh, right. Didn't notice that.
Do we have our presentation?
I think Carla, she'll come out and she'll go ahead and take care of getting that pulled up.
Okay, while she gets that pulled up, just kind of in general, the homebuyer education that I do, it's not like just specifically for the city of Jefferson. It is what we offer for all 38 counties that we cover. So again, even if you have clients that you think this just might be good for them to go through, they can go through it. It doesn't have to be specifically for the city grant. It's just a really good education for first-time homebuyers. And then the other thing I'll say too while she's pulling that up. So you guys will have the option for the city grant of using Catholic Charities or Love Columbia. We do things differently, so I want to say that up front. There's going to be different availability and a different process for both of us. So it's good to have options, but be aware that it's going to be different for both of us.
At one point, we did all that. Some big flurries.
Whoops.
No, I don't think that my, I think that.
Sorry, having technical difficulties.
36, 30. 36.
Maybe.
Do you use a first-time homebuyer grant when you bought your first home?
It's fine. They're trying to pull something up.
So you have.
But I think I'm
Firsthand experience. I do.
maybe.
You take that into consideration when you're doing your training.
Yeah, for sure. Like I wish that I would have had
That's all.
this training. It's really good. It is. It's a lot, but it's really good. Yay!
Batteries.
And if that's online, if you can remember to mute yourself, I think,
Gebhardt is maybe unmuted. Is that yours?
Yes, thank you. Okay, so first and foremost, I'm just going to give you guys a heads up that I am going to be out on maternity leave starting next week through April. So, and I'm the only HUD certified one at Catholic Charities. So for using Catholic Charities, this will be in April. So until April, you will have to use Love Inc. So keep that in mind. But upon April, this is how I run mine. It's a 2-part program. The part 1 is online e-course, probably similar to what you've already been doing. And that one takes on average 4 hours to complete. It's good. It has a survey on it. Everybody always gives really good feedback that it was very educational. For a 4-hour course, I'm surprised they're giving good feedback, but they are. And then part 2 is the one-on-one counseling piece. And this is where kind of that timing of making sure you guys are getting this going soon is going to be important, because it's going to be 4 hours of one-on-one with me. And that's typically I'm pretty available, but if we do have, 3 people at the same time that need 4 hours of course, that's going to be hard to get in. So just making sure they get it in well in advance. My regular hours are going to be Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4:30. And again, that might be hard for people too. So I know that might be a challenge we can do over lunch, virtual, or in person. So we can do over Zoom, Teams, that kind of thing if people need to be a bit more flexible. And then the 4 hours, it doesn't have to be one session. So if people do only have their lunch, we can do, 4 days of their lunch, whatever we need to do. And then I'll also just stay available to them until they do purchase the home. I'm there for them to educate them, walk them through the process as well. And I've attached the presentation that I give, so it'll kind of give you an overview, but it's from the decision to purchase all the way through post ownership. Like what happens if you can't make your mortgage payment? What if you want to sell? Everything. I'm just kind of touching on that again, what the program covers. Budgeting, we do a budget to make sure that they can actually afford to become a homeowner and really take a look at that. And then purchase readiness as well. We take a look at their debt to income ratio together, everything like that to make sure that they're really ready to be a home buyer. And then we go over the home buying process, selecting your lender, selecting your realtor, what to expect from the process every step of the way, and then their rights, and then post-purchase preparedness as well. And then, again, there's a presentation attached that you guys can, that'll be sent out as well, but it goes through what I go over. That's about it. Any questions about that, or did I miss anything?
Do they need to come to your office or?
So I can come, I can schedule and meet with them in person at the Catholic Charities in Jefferson City, or we can do virtual, either one.
So it does need to be at it's like not my office.
Right, yeah.
So are you on maternity leave until April?
Yes. Starting next week.
April Fool's Day?
April 2nd.
The one-on-one 4 hours, is it client specific, or let's say you had 3 people that needed to go through it, could you do 3 at?
Nope, so that's one of the things about the, kind of one of the HUD compliance aspects is that these are supposed to be individual, unique to their goals, their needs, specific to them. So we really want to take the time for each person.
Can they go through counseling before they get a contract?
What was that? I'm sorry?
Can they go through counseling before they get a contract?
Yes, that's preferred. So they can come through counseling. Just if they say, I think I might want to buy a home this year, send them over. Because we can, I mean, there's no harm in the education.
Is there a time frame that's good for?
The certificate won't expire unless there's some change to HUD's requirements or anything like that, which I don't anticipate. So in general, their certificate shouldn't expire. Okay, no more questions. I'm going to turn it over to Sherry at Love Columbia.
Sherry, are you able to share your screen? I think you have most capabilities.
Do you want me to share my screen?
If that's possible.
Or does she have a present?
Or we could forward the slides for you.
Yeah, I think we emailed you guys the presentation.
Okay, we'll do that in a minute.
Okay, thank you.
I can pull it up too if that's easier, Sherry, whichever. To share it.
Yeah, I'm having some troubles today with my laptop, so.
No, that is fine. Carla is actually going to pull it up.
Okay.
Here. For some reason, we're having issues up here trying to do that.
Okay.
I've got it up if you'd like, if that would be easier. Just whatever you want to do.
If you wouldn't mind going ahead and doing that, I apologize. We're having some difficulties today.
No problem. It's loading right now, just a second.
And Conrad and Sherry, could you please introduce yourselves?
Sure. My name is Conrad Hake. I'm the program director with Love Columbia. As our name implies, we're based out of Columbia, Missouri. I'm also a HUD certified housing counselor. And Sherry, let's introduce you.
I'm Sherry Weiss. I'm a financial coach here at Love Columbia. So I do budgeting and credit building with individuals. And then I'm also a certified HUD counselor, and I teach the first time home buyer classes here.
We see it.
Oh, we did.
We did. Hold on.
Oh. Circle.
Oh, there we go. Okay, so we became HUD certified back in January of last year, and we had over 70 people go through our first time homebuyer classes last year. We kind of take a different approach. So on the months that we do not offer the first time homebuyer class, we do that 6 times a year. So we'll do that in January, March, May, July, September, and November. So months opposite of that, we offer what we call the pre-home ownership class. And so these are individuals, and when individuals come to us wanting to go to the home buyers class, we kind of make sure we're getting them prepared and set up for the right class, kind of for the most success that they can possibly have at this. So the pre-ownership class is for individuals who may still be having some troubles with their credit, or still have questions about what's going to happen at the bank, and kind of maybe not quite ready to go to the home buyer class. So with this, we work on credit. This is a free class that we offer the months opposite of the home buyers class. So this will start in February of this year. It's a 1-hour class. It's free. It's myself talking about credit, and then I have 2 local lenders that come and go over the complete process of what is going to happen at the bank, what they need to have ready for the bank, financials, really helping people get ready that maybe not are quite at that point, but really thinking about buying a home, kind of to save them from spending $100 for the home buyers class, but really just kind of preparing people and truly setting them up for success to be a home buyer. So this, again, free class available to anybody. Then after you come to the class, if you have to build on your credit, you continue to see me. Another free service we offer here at Love Columbia, so we can help build your credit, improve on that, start building a budget, start building, your emergency fund, start helping you, save also for down payment, whatever you need. And then the lenders are also very willing to work with individuals to get them ready for the financial side of what's going to happen at the bank. And then we do offer our HUD ownership class, our home buyers class. This is a 4-hour class on a Saturday. I usually like to meet with people before they come to the class, again, just to kind of make sure that this is the service that they do need. So this is a great class. We've had a lot of good feedback on. We have all live presenters. So beginning of the class, I go over credit building, budgeting a little bit, and then I have 2 local real estate lenders. We have 2 local real estate agents. We have this year the county assessor who's going to come and talk about property taxes. We have an appraiser that comes and talks to the class, an inspector, and then we also have an insurance agent that comes. So they get to interact with the people in the industry, ask questions, totally interact, get all the information that they can. We prepare a packet for them. Then after this class, they do come back and do the required one-on-one counseling with me, which is usually an hour session. Then after that, in 60 days, I follow up again. But typically I find that most people do follow up quite a bit just for, needing resources, which we provide, and answer any questions that they might have during the process. And then we also do rental counseling, homeless counseling, the pre-ownership, pre-purchase, the mortgage delinquency foreclosure counseling, and then any post homeowner counseling as well. And then our workshop does cost $100. We do offer 2 scholarships. per session. So if they are in need of a scholarship, we can certainly do that. I just have them meet with me kind of before that. We go ahead and make sure, run their credit, do a budget session, make sure this is really the class that is right for them at the time, and then we do provide the scholarship. So there's the dates of ours coming up. The workshop here at Love Columbia. We have on our website, you can email the homebuyer at lovecolumbia.org. You can call the phone number there, or on our website, our registration link is there if they want to go ahead and register and pay online. And again, I usually contact individuals before, touching base about where the class is, kind of going over details. And then the class runs from 8:30 to 12:30 here at Love Columbia on those dates that are listed. Any questions about our programs?
So do those classes cover the 4 hours one-on-one is that the same? Is that what?
Yes, between the class and meeting with me afterwards, they do get the 8 hours that they need.
And we're real proud of our our in-person classes. Sherry's put together a great program with lots of great community partners. It is oriented to Columbia, Boone County. So the realtors, lenders, the property tax assessor, those sorts of things will be oriented to Boone County. We are setting up online services as well, to where we can offer an online class similar to what Paige described, so that somebody can complete the class online and then receive the one-on-one remotely. Since we know not everyone wants to come to Columbia, and our services are located in Columbia, we can still serve people that are in Jeff City. We think that they would get a lot out of coming to the class if they wanted to come in person, but we can offer that, do that online option, and also do the one-on-one sessions over the phone remotely as well.
Are there any questions, again, from anyone that is online? And I will go ahead and reiterate that the city will go ahead and pay the cost of the workshop, and any fees basically that is associated with this. That is part of what we offer. So there will be no cost to the applicant whatsoever,
As long as they meet the
eligibility requirements.
What if they don't go through with taking advantage of the grant?
Then that's happened, honestly, in the past. So, that is one requirement. They have to go through some type of home ownership education course. And so if they don't go through with it, then that's fine. Yeah, that's perfectly fine. Any other questions? And again, I will, for those that may have come on a little bit late, I will go ahead, and the recording will be posted online on the city's webpage, and also the presentation by Paige and her very, her more in-depth presentation. I'll also go ahead and provide a link, and then also what was provided by Love Columbia. And also at the end of my presentation, that will also be online, is my phone number and my email address. And so I will be available at any time to answer any questions that anyone may have. I know that this is going to be a new process, and it's going to be a new process for us too. So there's going to be some growing pains until we can kind of get this going. So and also at any time, probably say by either the end of this week or early next week, just go ahead, and if you have anybody that you're knowing that is wanting to take advantage of that, go ahead and go through that process of seeing if they meet the income eligibility, and then get them in touch with me, and we'll see what we can do to get them scheduled for the homeownership education class.
I assume Columbia has the same kind of grant program as
They do. Theirs is a little bit different. I mean, they and how much they offer and that type of thing. But yes, they also, yeah.
So how much money does the state of Jefferson have this calendar year?
At this time, we have not received our allocation letter. Okay. So once we receive our allocation letter, then we'll go through our process of kind of doing our budget, because to see what other activities we're going to put money towards. So.
But for 24, I think we've budgeted for 10.
For 10, yeah, we budgeted for 10.
So 50,000.
Yeah. But we've, last year, so we have a balance between we're in the 5th year of our consolidated plan. So we have so many projects that we have to do for emergency home repair, so many demolitions that we've said we were gonna do 5 years ago. So that flexibility, we know that we're providing, we've already met our goal for down payment assistance, but that just tells us that's an extended need. And the housing study also pointed out adding more down payment assistance. So we budget for 10, but if we haven't had any, as much requests out of the emergency home repair program, kind of starting in that fall when that second wave of home buyer happens, then we can sometimes do a little bit more, but it just depends on how much is available.
Yes.
How long does this usually last before you run out of the money for these? Do you usually run out of them, or?
So last year, we did do 10, and I want to say it was maybe June. It just kind of starts dropping off at some point, to be honest with you. Sometimes we have a big push in the spring, and so we get through quite a few then. Then maybe we kind of have a little bit of a lag time, and then probably by late summer, may have a few, but generally after that, it just it drops off. And really, and I'd have to go back and look and see, but I know with probably October, November, December, did not have, it just kind of was a slow time.
Is this kind of funded a different, same program, different funding?
Yes, so the city, through the city's budget, we have what we call the Neighborhood Reinvestment Act Down Payment Incentive Program. And it also offers $5,000 towards down payment costs. That is a one-to-one advantage program, to where if they can go ahead and put down, say, money towards that as an incentive, then we will go ahead and match that. If they are not able to go ahead and put down a match, then we offer that $5,000 in assistance.
The old town?
It's the old town, that is correct, yes. It is, yes, it is.
The income requirements?
It does not. It only has to be, with that program, of course, it has to be within that old town area. The property has to be built prior to December 31 of 1959. It also, of course, cannot be in a floodplain. With that one, we do allow that duplexes, and then, the single family owner occupied. Also, it has to be either vacant or rented anywhere from 120 to 180 days prior to purchase on that.
It's still 5 years?
It's still the 5 years, correct. Yes, it is. That is correct. And also, we have in the past, as long as the applicant, they meet the requirements for the CDBG program and the city-funded program, we can offer the down payment assistance for both of those programs. And so they could, potentially have up to $10,000 of assistance on that. And that has happened quite frequently, honestly, so. Any other questions? Okay, thank you very much for attending, and again, please do not hesitate to reach out, and as soon as possible, we will get all of this on our city's webpage so that those that were not able to join us either online or here in person today can go back and take a look at this. So thank you again.